It's time once again for another episode of the Golden Age of DC Comics 365 Days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. It's been surfing my coffee table ever since, and it's a great excuse to recreate the conversations that we'd have in a comic book store on any given Wednesday. I miss those conversations, and if you're tuned in, you might as well. And thank you for being part of this conversation. What goes well with a coffee table book and a coffee table conversation? Well, pull up a chair, bring a cuppa, your favorite cuppa, and let's have some comic book talk. I'm gonna wet my whistle. This is Ethiopian ergachefe. This is a light roast. Yeah, there we go. That's everything you need to know. Look at that beautiful font. Look at this. And he's got this great info sheet. Look at that. Where else are you gonna keep grinding? Yeah, give him a look. I love his coffee. Keeps me Samson gets me lifted, yo. You know what I'm talking about? We're talking about comic books and a little about the book. This is the Golden Age of DC Comics. It's a 2004 Abrams publication, written and curated by Chip Kidd, Les Daniels, and Geoff Spear. There is a link in the description to the Amazon page where you can get your own copy. It will look great on your coffee table, and it makes a great gift for a geek. I know. And the intended purpose of this book is, it's a 365 days book. We're going to crack it open to today's date. We're going to look at some comic book art from an antediluvian age. We're going to read the blurb, and then we're going to talk about comic books. And we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. The Golden Age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955. The Silver Age between 1956 and 1970. The Bronze Age, I'm a Bronze Age baby, runs between 1970 and 1985. And then the Copper Age begins in 1985. And therein I will throw my hat in the ring for any discussion about the current ages of comics, and especially, I love what Razor Fist got to say about now being the Iron Age. It's very awesome. I just, that nails it. Way to go, Razor Fist. I like to take a minute or two in the beginning of every show talking about something that matters to me and ideologically, huh? But it's called the escapism caveat. Listen, activists are important. Activism is very important. The world's in trouble and it needs help. And prima facie, there are good intentions with good results. But over the past several years, activists have turned into bullies and are using tactics and try to leverage us in places where maybe they should leave it alone. Specifically, like in comic books and publication and TV shows and sports and in church and they're in gaming. There are so many places where activists have come into these spaces and demand that their message be disseminated using these pre-existing fan spaces. You know, and I hate to call church a fan space. It's just that's quasi-related. I mean, but church should be about saving your soul, and you know that's what church is for. And then it becomes about a community, and then but it doesn't matter what the intent or the messages. It's the leverages that's being used. It's the invasion of the spaces. Activism is important, yes, but escapism is just as important. Why? Because we need to forget this world's problems just for a few moments in a day. We do. We need to be a space pirate or an undersea adventurer or get lost in the game or go to church and ask for God's forgiveness or even like plug in to an RPG, a role-playing game, and get lost for a few hours just searching for a gem to put in your sword. You know, stuff like that. That's called escapism. And to intersect the world's problems into our escapist vehicles It's really kind of rude. And who does that to someone? Who doesn't give a person a break? I mean, seriously, activism is important. It has its space. It has its place. And I can respect an activist, but I do not feel as though an activist can respect me because I'm useless to them in disseminating their message. I mean, they're using our fandoms and spaces as their platform. I mean, I look at it now as an intellectual and cultural colonialism. I'm a big fan of history, so this is where it's at. Could have been the Romans, the Japanese invading mainland China. It could have been the Mongols. It could have been the British. It could have been anybody. The conquistadors. You have invaders. They're entering a place that's already populated, that has a culture, that has a religion, that has a group memory, group behavior, and group expectations. And the invaders are coming in and making demands that changes be made to suit them. And as we kind of say in the fandoms, it wasn't toxic till you got here. There's a logic in that. Let's get back to the matter at hand. I don't want to get lost in the escapism caveat every day, but we're going to crack the page to today's date. It's July the 27th. It's summer, and I hope you're doing awesome, and I hope you're clobbering your problems and not being clobbered by them. Cheers. It is the Joker and the Cat. Pre-Catwoman Selina Kyle, before she was just known by as the Cat. Wow, look at that art. We're going to get into this. It's a story by Bill Finger, pencils by Bob Kane, inks by Jerry Robinson and George Russos. This is from Batman issue number 2, summer of 1940. America has not yet entered World War II. World War II has been going on in Europe since about 1936, I believe. And America will not enter the European theater until 1944, officially on D-Day. This is true. And one of those weird things in history too, who won World War II? Who beat the Nazis? Look it up yourself. RTFM. Read the manual. I mean, the answers might shock you, or challenge you, huh? But let's read this. The first issue of Batman's own comic book introduced two classic villains, the Joker and the Cat, later known as Catwoman. In an unusual move for the time period, the pernicious pair teamed up in the very next issue. Actually, they are rivals after the same loot, with the Joker still murderous and the Cat merely mercenary. Batman is feeling pretty unethical himself, plotting to kidnap the Joker and subject him to brain surgery so that he can be cured and turned into a valuable citizen. Fortunately for the series, that didn't pan out. Let's look at these two sequential panels of art. Sequential art, telling a story. Alrighty. But when she arrives, she is met by the death stamp of the Joker. Oh, that awesome smile! Murdered by the Joker! In person! Hand over the cast! Or should I try for a Mark Hamill kind of voice? Hand over the cast! Hand over that jewel cask, my pretty, or must I kill you first? That was as close to a Mark Hamill Joker as I'm gonna get. But hopefully I came very close. I could feel the force, the spirit. Yeah, so Joker and Catwoman both debuted in Batman issue number 1. And they've been with him ever since. It's an interesting triangle, huh? Right from the start. Detective Comics may have started at 27 with Batman's adventures, and Robin would be introduced at Detective 38 less than about a year later, but Batman number 1 is Batman number 1. And yeah, that's interesting. And so Catwoman did not begin as Bruce's love interest, but it developed there over time. And Joker himself. Now, Joker is something I've come to understand as it's something called a cipher. a cipher has a couple of different meanings. It's a homophone, and it has two different spellings as well. You can spell it with an I or a Y as a vowel, and a cipher can be the key to a code. Also, a cipher literally can mean the word is an Arabic root, zifir, and it means zero, empty, or nothing. Arabic culture invented optics, lenses, and the number zero. Before that, we didn't have a concept of zero. We probably done not this the mathematical definition as we know it today. It was a very important part of the puzzle, is the zero. Back to Joker, though. Joker being a cipher as a character, and that means that this character can be anything. It's a zero. Okay. It's kind of an empty vessel of no value. It's just this. Joker is just the wrapping over the present. It's just Joker's just the wrapping paper. What's underneath the present that can change. That changes every year, but it's like you keep the same theme with the wrapping paper. Joker is everything and anything that Batman needs to be challenged with in a story to create tension and traction, to create drama, to perpetuate the cliffhanger, and to get story going to where it needs to go. The action sequences that we love, the playing between Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty in a different trapping, But Joker, that's why there's always been this thing like, which Joker, how Joker, murderous Joker, Joker, three Jokers, Joker from Full Metal Jacket, you know what I mean? Some people call me the Space Cowboy, and some call me the Gangster of Love, and some call me Maurice, and the Pompatus of Love. That's me being a Joker, but Joker is basically, Selina is Selina. You get a pretty good idea who she is, especially over the years. She's essentially a jewel thief, but over the she's had character arc, but she's stayed kind of the same. Just the root of her character. Now we have the whole cycle of Bruce Selina, waxing and waning, moon chasing sun, the endless romance, but with Joker's a little different. I mean, so Joker is a cipher. He's an empty vessel, and you can fill him with anything you need to challenge Batman. That's why I've had fun with so many different literary renditions of Joker. I mean, Scott Snyder's use of him in the new 52, was madcap. It was grotesque. It was the level of seriousness that Bruce needed in order to have the story be told. The problems of the story notwithstanding, I mean, that was a interesting Joker. Then you have something such as Geoff Johns' Three Jokers. Again, addresses all this history going back to the Golden Age, and the different writers portraying Joker differently. First a murderous Joker, then the laughing lunatic, and then back to being a murderous fiend, and often cruel, and then sometimes not so cruel. Well, because Joker is a cipher. He's anyone you need him to be to challenge Batman. Now, someone like Harley Quinn, she's not a cipher. She is a genuine fictional character with a name and a birthday and parents. And you fill in these details on these fictional people. We develop a non-delusional parasocial relationship with these characters for reasons that are, quite like falling in love. They're onto our own. But Dr. Harleen Quinzel is a fully realized, a defined person. With Joker not having definition like that allows him to always be a vessel, to be filled with anything that story needs to challenge Batman. Yeah, and we've been talking about comic books. We've been talking about Batman and Joker and Catwoman. I got into the deep end of the pool about my feelings about Joker. I've always wanted to do that. Joker's an amazing character. Yeah, from Brian Boland and Alan Moore's Killing Joke, which may or may not have been continuity all this time. Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger. I mean, I passed on the Joaquin Phoenix movie. I've got King of Comedy by Scorsese instead. So there's that. But there's this, and this book is great, and I'm so glad that we're taking the time to crack it open once a day and talk about comic books. And we're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. Tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Ring that bell. I would love to earn your subscription. We make daily content here. We talk about bunnies eating breakfast. We see planets in the pre-dawn, naked eye sky. I talk about spirituality, gratitude, and I'm a chef. We talk about cooking a lot too. So check out the playlists, check out the buttons up top, get your own cup of coffee. Thank you for coming by. Namaste, good luck, God bless you, and we will see you once again in the funny pages tomorrow. Bye-bye.